Here I am again with my Onan. I have I bought an inch thick piece of plywood to be a new deck, and I put in cross braces underneath, so hopefully this should stand up better than the original. I still have the Onan slung from the lift as a safety measure. These blocks here are screwed down to the surface, so this shouldn't go anywhere, and if it does decide to go anywhere, it won't go too far. What we have determined that I do have spark to both plugs, and that my old facet pump was bad. It was getting hot. We have jumpered the board from pin 9 to pin 5, and I'll do that again here in a moment. I hate saying it's a terrible habit. Okay, especially for an attorney. This is my voltage regulator, which I don't really need. The problem is that I'm not sure which of these terminals, two can be tied together, have to be tied together, and the other one has to be kept separate. There's a label here that says AC and one here that says B+, and there's nothing on the third. I need to look at the manual and see if I can determine from the schematic which ones of these are electrically identical. If anybody has any advice, or if you happen to know the answer and can save me some trouble, by all means, holler out. I'm going to need a new one of these. We replaced the fuel pump with this low pressure facet pump, and the next thing I need to do is to take off the carburetor and clean it up and put it back on, see if I can make it go. If it goes, then I'll get some new O-rings and a rebuild kit for the carb. I need to take off the choke and the throttle, the choke and the throttle, or throttle? Not necessarily throttle. It's more like, anyway, I need to take these two loose and then remove these two bolts here and here, and that should be it. The manual explains how to take off this very small carburetor. Alright, well, now I'm going to attempt to crank it up and show y'all what it does or does not do. I do not have a fire extinguisher handy. There's only about 1 quart of gasoline in this little container. Put it down there. Okay, hose. Okay, now obviously that's not going to fly. Okay. Battery's hooked up down there. Jumping pin 9 to pin 5. Where's my little flashlight? I want to make sure which one is pin 5. 3, 4, 5. Okay, you can hear the pump. I think it's sucking. Okay. Stick my nose right in the carburetor and I don't smell any gas. But I can feel there's definitely liquid in here, so let's crank it and see what happens. Okay, so not much of anything, but that's what it was doing. But the good news is that we determined for sure that I had a bad pump, and we determined for sure that I had spark. So the next, so we have fuel now. We have fire where I'm breathing air. So that leaves well, getting the fuel to this point. So maybe we don't have fuel in the cylinders yet. I still don't smell any gas. So maybe my parts here are gummed up and need to be cleaned. To be continued. Every time I do one of these projects, I'm in constant danger of blowing myself up or poisoning myself or otherwise injuring myself. I took off the bottom of the carburetor. And I would imagine that this little doohickey here is the float, and that as the gasoline fills up the bowl here, the float floats up and cuts off the flow. I blew into the fuel inlet. Let me see. Yeah, fuel inlet here, and in the down position I can get air, I can blow air through it, and when it comes up it seals off. So I'm going to squirt some more carb cleaner in and around this area and put it back together and then try to fire it up and just see if a basic 1-2 cleaning, kind of hosing everything down, brushing things off, maybe that's what it needs just for our purposes here. Well, I believe I have gotten the carburetor back together more or less correctly. So now I'm going to put power to everything and see if my little cleanup job, quick and dirty, did the trick. Wire was in the way. Okay. Fuel. Jumping pin 9 to pin 5. Okay, I feel like I've got gas in here. Fortune and glory. Okay, proves nothing. Alright, now I see no reason why I can't take the fuel bowl off while the carb is still on. There's no gas in here. Shouldn't there be gas in here? Okay, through the simple expedient of just taking my fuel line off and jumpering it, I am getting fuel out of here, so I must not be getting fuel through here and into the bowl, which leads me to think I need to do a little bit more, something more intensive with the carburetor, taking it apart and making sure that all the little passages and stuff like that in there are clear. So to be continued.